Welcome to Beyond the Press Release, a production of AGORACOM, in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives after they put out important news. With us today, and I'm always excited to have them back because Draganfly always seems to do something super exciting that lives up to the AGORACOM thesis that this decade is going to see just amazing thing happen thanks to the convergence of all these great technologies like artificial intelligence, robotics, drones. Man, Draganfly delivers on that. If you don't know him, he's the chairman and CEO. They trade on the NASDAQ under DPRO and on the Canadian Security Exchange, also on the stocks on the same symbol, DPRO. Draganfly, for those who are new to the story, because you guys keep seeing these headlines, they're not your recreational drone company, okay? They're the creators of cutting-edge drone solutions with software and AI systems that revolutionize basically the way we do a lot of things in our lives. They're award-winning. They're an industry leader with tier 1 clients, more than just lip service. 2020 revenues were $4.4 million, up 216%. Q1 and Q2 revenues were up 210% and 114%, each of them listed up to the NASDAQ, uplisted to the NASDAQ, which is amazing. So many things going on, but the press release today that I love it, Draganfly signs $9 million exclusive manufacturing agreement with Digital Dream Labs to design and develop an AI consumer companion robot drone. This is awesome. I can't wait to talk about it. Cam, welcome back, man.
George, I love it, man. I love my business. I love what I get to do. But when I hear you talk about it, I love it even more. It's you're the best.
You guys are like a gift under a Christmas tree. Like you keep opening up and just blown away by you know what you discover inside the package. So before we discuss the details, right? An AI consumer companion robot drone. Are we talking about R2D2, C3PO? What's an AI consumer companion robot drone before we get into the details?
Yeah, so this is really an educational toy that we are manufacturing for a very specific customer. And there's very specific reasons that they brought it to us to do. Now, we're not a consumer drone manufacturer. We are a cutting edge solution provider, engineering shop, manufacturing organization. But when you look at the specs of this particular product and what it's doing, the reason that we're doing it as opposed to maybe some other companies out there, well, actually, I don't really think there is anybody else that could be doing what we're doing in particular with this product because of the AI that we've got into it. This is a sentient AI-based educational toy. It really is focused in the STEM area: science, technology, engineering, and math. And this is the product that's coming out to be the companion to what's known as Cosmo. Now, Cosmo is an award-winning, one of the best-selling STEM toys of all time, over 5 million user install base. And Digital Dream Labs came to us because they needed somebody to design and build, manufacture, handle the logistics, the warranty, the AI logic, everything that goes around how this interacts with an already install base of 5 million users. It's a much bigger deal than, you know, producing a toy.
And I've seen Cosmo, by the way. I saw it a year ago, how they're saying, you know, it's a desktop robot helping young students do their, you know, get educated, get all their work done. This is going to be the drone companion, right?
That's correct.
Explain that to us, like, you know, help us visualize what kind of things it's going to be doing.
Yeah, so first and foremost, it's educational. So, you know, they have certain missions that they can do with it. They have certain programs they can build with it. There's an entire community where they can develop programming and put it into the community and build on other people's programs. So it's really all about this community development and then a self-directed learning environment, right? Educators do also interact into that environment and be able to create missions, develop code, and you know, each one of these things becomes completely unique to the person that owns it. And that's why they're calling them companion drones. There is a huge attachment of the owners of these to these actual companion drones because they're creating their personalities, they're creating their sentience, their sentient nature, they're creating the programs that they can do and how they react with other drones, whether it be Cosmo or other Breezmos. It's an absolutely fascinating world, and it's one of the reasons that they've got this install base of 5 million users out there that are just looking for this next product.
And the last part is, I think, what's really important. This is an idea, a concept. Let's throw it on the wall, see if it sticks. The desktop robot has already got 5 million
Yeah.
user install, which is unbelievable. So now you're just going to be the companion to that. So let's talk about the big business side. It's a $9 million minimum exclusive manufacturing agreement. So let's talk about what the agreement looks like, how many units per year. But what I really want to know is how big of a market do you think this could develop into over the next 2 or 3 years? Because I see things going this way.
Yeah, so we've got a minimum order quantity right now of 50,000 units per year, which is about $9 million on a yearly basis. First year is locked in, and then second years are optioned out. No reason to expect at this point that they're not going to continue for all kinds of reasons. It's a very sticky arrangement, and which works very well for us. And of course, we're completely honored to get to work with Digital Dream Labs and the rich history that they've got that goes along with it. So their expected ongoing volumes of Cosmo are in the range of about 200,000 units per year. They're looking for about a 20%-ish uptake, so the 50,000 units per year on Breezemo. The community continues to develop, so it kind of becomes this self-fulfilling prophecy of products that they continue to support and put into the community. But they actually have a Netflix show coming out in 2022, which is actually featuring Cosmo and Breezemo a lot in it. So the distribution around this community and the uptake around this community is growing. So, you know, we have a high degree of confidence that obviously these numbers are going to be met. We're tooling up for it. Our AI bench is really excited about the stuff that they proposed and that we demonstrated to DDL on this, which is really what won us the business. I mean, it was the creative thinking, that the partnership type dynamic, and then the AI additional let's call it characteristics that we're able to embed into Breezemo to really take their entire platform, Breezemo and Cosmo, to an entire new level.
For people at home who are wondering, because Jacob Hansher, who's the co-founder CEO of Digital Dream Labs, said, obviously they're very excited to be working with Draganfly, but as on the newest edition of the Cosmo family. But what I caught at the end was this AI robot drone can be used to improve lives. Give everyone at home a sense for the value proposition for the consumer, right? How is it improving the lives of these kids and in the ed tech world?
Well, you know, when you think about kids who are spending a lot of time at home or in isolated situations, or they need a certain level of expertise to interact with, and they can't get access to a teacher at their particular school, whether it's pandemic driven or whether it's because the expertise is on the other side of the world. These drones, these STEM devices now actually become the learning tool. So as the student is working on the program or building on the actual device, the teacher on the other end, right, or the mentor on the other end is actually interacting on that same device through the internet, right? And so that it's actually a learning tool, and they're building this sentient type personality together, the capabilities together, the pride of ownership together, the ability to create, right, in a STEM environment, right, with hands-on learning. This is the type of stuff that really, you know, takes talented kids and people in this same area, you know, to an entire new level, because they're interacting with their community, which might be on the other side of the world, as if they were sitting on the other side of the desk.
What does it say about Draganfly that you guys were selected by Digital Dream Labs? Because like I said, they've already got great success, and so they're not going to venture into something that isn't going to work. Or look, it's one thing to have a desktop, you know, robot companion. And it's another thing to have a drone, robot drone companion. Because I gotta think there's issues related to safety and trust and all those kind of things. What does it say about Draganfly that Digital Dream Labs tapped your shoulder and said, hey,
yeah,
we need you guys.
you know, hopefully it says a lot of things, but you know, you're so observant. You know, this in many cases, this is an indoor drone, right? Because kids are working on their workbench or at their desks and things like that, and they're flying it. You know, not obviously it's outdoor and has incredible capability, but you know, so just the design of it, the thinking through of it, it's also interacting with kids and it's interacting with the community. So things like safety protocols and security are incredibly important. That trust factor that Cosmo has built up is something that's really like brand basic to DDL. So when they were looking for an organization to deal with, somebody that was North American based, somebody that had a 20-year plus history, somebody that had personnel with all the right security clearances, directors were the former White House chiefs of staff and directors of Homeland Security. Those things really mattered to them. And I can assure you those things really matter to our industrial clients too. But it's interesting because nothing can collect or communicate data better than a drone. Right? Maybe your smartphone, but not even the same type of data. And so when you start thinking through the implications of not having a locked down environment and a product that really can perform at a particular level, you realize that you're not building a $12 toy here. You're building a $400 or $500 unit that has capabilities that even drones from a couple of years ago at $30,000, $40,000 don't even. In fact, some commercial drones won't have the same capabilities because they'll have a different purpose than these drones here. So, the ongoing future of something like this, the connected environment, the ability to introduce new programs and new products, and of course, we've got first right of refusal on their future products coming up, and the use of our AI in those products. So it's really a limit, completely limitless potential. And listen, we're very big in the educational space. We're not a consumer drone company, but when it comes to education and the education vertical, as you've seen with some of our past partnerships and some things that are blossoming there, you're going to see a lot more out of us in education because it's it's an important vertical that we want to be a big and meaningful part of.
Where do you see this going, Cam? Because you said earlier that was very observant of me, and that's because I'm a father of 3. So if I wasn't the founder of AGORACOM, if I was just a guy who didn't know who Draganfly was, my wife came to me and said, "Hey, we can have this AI robot drone to complement Cosmo." I would have thought things like the questions I brought up to you. But now I'm starting to think, all right, I feel great. I feel very secure and safe with what the AI robot drone is gonna do in my home. Then I start thinking as a dad, hey, when the education time is done, homework's finished, and little Johnny and little Mary want to go play in the backyard, can this AI robot drone in the future, not today, but in the future, can it evolve into a bit of a security monitoring device where it follows them outside, they're playing, and it's just watching, to make sure everything's okay?
Yeah, that's the whole idea. And who's going to build that program? Is the kid that owns that drone.
What's that?
The kid that owns that drone. He'll build that program. This isn't way in the future. This is, I'm going to build a program for this drone to follow me across the room. I'm going to build a program for this drone to fly the perimeter of our yard. And he puts in the coordinates and he puts in, that's what they learn on these.
I didn't realize that. I thought the software was all you guys and nobody could kind of mess with it at the end of the day.
Well, no, I mean, so a number of the AI components within it, and the interface with the hardware that are required to do these types of actions are certainly us, and we've developed and worked them out, and now we're continuing to do so with DDL. But the actual programming itself, right? That's the beauty of what DDL is. They've got this platform, for kids and people to program on top of, so that their drones, whether it be Cosmo or Breezemo or whoever, can do certain things in their environment that other drones can't do, or who cares if my drone can fly around my yard? It's not programmed to fly around your yard. But that's what triggers that curiosity and that sense of accomplishment and that need to create. Is satisfied because you've done something meaningful and useful. You can see how it applies in the real world. That's why this educational space is just taking off so dramatically right now.
So how big of a market do you guys think this could be? And I'm not asking for projection right now. 50,000 units annually is fantastic. It's $9 million. It's just a fantastic agreement for Draganfly. But do you guys have any sense of how big this could become over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years? Because I've said it, AGORACOM's thesis is that the convergence of technology is going to create brand new industries and products we've never even dreamed of. And here's one. Where do you think this goes, Cam?
In terms of our entire educational initiative, it's certainly well beyond $9 million a year is what we're targeting for. I'm not trying to be coy or vague.
No, of course not.
I'm just saying that between the training programs that we're building, between the educational institutions that we're working with to implement some of our training, between this educational toy and some other ones that we'll be announcing with some additional partners here shortly, the marketplace itself is well into the short-term marketplace is well into the hundreds of millions of dollars. The overall educational market's a multi-billion-dollar market, you know, but the very specific things that we can bring into it, you know, we think we can drive this into, you know, multiple times the size of a $9 million contract per year over the course of the coming years.
Man, this is why I'm so excited about this decade from a technology point of view. It's just amazing, the kind of things. When do you think we'll see the first breeze mill? Any sense of when we'll start seeing the first ones roll?
Yeah, you'll see. It'll be late 2022 when they start rolling out. So, you know, part of the whole marketing, you know, but, of course, we're you know, we're ramping, we're tooling, we're designing, we're testing, we're doing all that type of stuff, and that'll take a good part of next year. But also part of the marketing plan doesn't want this rolling out until the Netflix show is actually airing and rolling as well, which is in production. So you know, so it's a next year project, and so we're you know, like that's pretty quick in terms of the size and numbers that we're talking about.
By the way, that Netflix show, is it going to be a series or is it a one-off documentary?
Yeah, no, it's a Netflix series. Yeah.
So that we're going to be able to actually watch, I'm assuming, or maybe you can tell us instead of me guessing, but I'm assuming it'll be watching it'll be showing Georgie working with his desktop robot and his drone robot and so
yeah,
on, so
no,
on.
I hope I'm not speaking out of school here. I'll probably get a nasty call after if I don't think.
Okay, I don't want to get you in trouble.
Series. It's an animated series. You know, okay. with full-on scripted storylines of Breezemo and Cosmo and you know, missions and morals and those types of things. You know, I'm confident that DDL is very good at what they do. You know, their YouTube channels and their YouTube presence of people building things and their user-generated content on that, it could never be matched. Like, you know, Netflix could never produce as much content as what YouTube does already, you know, for this community. So, this is a fully scripted animated thing, is my understanding.
You know, sometimes we take Draganfly for granted, but the combination of technology here is robotics, AI, and aviation expertise that you're going to be integrating into this product. Is there anybody in the world capable of bringing this kind of expertise to the table to produce a product like what you're doing with DDL here?
Well, you know, I'm sure there is, but as it relates to this very specific product and the really cool things that DDL and Draganfly have imagined and designed into it, no. I don't think there's anybody else that could be doing this right now. In the big pictures, or somebody else that could build a sentient type educational drone. Yeah, there's a number of them. But I don't think, knowing what I know about this particular product, I don't think anybody else could have pulled it off with this team.
What does this do to further the goal of moving Draganfly's leadership position ahead in this space? You know, what does this do? Because something like this is going to get. I first saw Cosmo on my own. I believe it was last year. I remember watching it as a special on TV somewhere. I said, "Wow, that's fascinating! This desktop robot." So it's already high profile that comes with it, and now you guys are adding on the drone version of it. That means you guys are going to get instant attention. What does this do for just keep furthering Draganfly's leadership position?
Well, I think that our commercial customers, not necessarily our educational customers, but our commercial customers, when they see the type of technology that's built in to this little unit and how it applies and the learnings that our engineering team and our benches are taking and already envisioning how it applies into commercial settings in both public safety, in emergency response systems, in a couple of other industrial verticals I'm being a little bit vague about right now, that you know, it really becomes a showpiece of like, okay, that's again is something unique that Draganfly can bring to the table, that you know, the airframe being one thing, but it's the integration of all those technologies to actually produce a result. You know, so just like when we introduced vital intelligence into the drone world, you know, for years, I'm confident in saying that we've got the only drones out there that can read vital signs. And so whether that's military application, public safety application, emergency response application, where we've got drones taking vital signs of survivors in disaster zones, whether it's taking vital signs of village populations before viruses are delivered in to understand how how infected the village may be, or what precautions need to be taken. I mean, these are the things that make drones special. Drones are special, but what really makes drones useful are these types of things. And I'm very, very confident with the innovations in the DDL Breezemo that it will convert into additional commercial and industrial application.
Am I overstating it by saying that an application like this that I did not see coming, and you and I have had a lot of great conversations off camera about different applications I've asked you about, right? That I would think, wow, they're really cutting edge, and can you do this for our neighborhood or business or things like that? But I didn't see anything like this coming. Does this send the signal out to your shareholders now and prospective shareholders that Draganfly is truly unlimited in potential applications of its AI and aviation expertise and robot over the next 5 years? Like, this almost tells me that you guys are limitless. Am I overstating that? Am I maybe too excited about this?
I think we'll be designing and building things 5 years from now that I have not even imagined. Or not me, or the brilliant engineers and the creatives that we have. Like commercial. Like in the past, it's like if you can hardly imagine it, it's probably 5 years away from production or commercialization. I think we'll be doing things in 5 years from now we haven't even imagined that we've imagined. Like
we don't even know. We don't even know what we don't know.
Don't even know what we don't know. Like, and I do not think that anything is impossible in this regard.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is obviously an internal, right? This is an internal drone. It's almost like internal aviation. Do you guys have any other applications that are internal? And if not, if this is the first one, does this now open the door, because you've developed and will have to further develop that expertise for an internal drone, right? Will this just open up the door to even more internal applications around security, or senior citizens that are living alone and maybe needs to monitor them, or pets or things like that? Do you start even going down that path?
Yeah, so I mean, I think a little bit yet to be seen, but certainly this is indoor friendly and it's outdoor friendly. Now you can't put it in a 20-mile-an-hour wind or 40-kilometer or 15-kilometer-an-hour wind. I mean, that's not. I mean, it does have limitations. There are aero. There's physics, right? That said, we saw a really interesting product come out of Ring last year with an indoor drone. Right. And which would be a very
right. I think it was circular. I think it was, they made
that's
it
right. Yeah, single fan
right.
and stuff. And so we'll see more of these types of things for sure. And more of these types of applications, and you'll see these types of things being used in building maintenance and in venting systems and for inspection and safety and all of those types of things where you don't have to put people up on ladders going through plants, going through industrial facilities, checking pipeline cracks or going up to look at transmitters that are on walls or cameras or, whatever is up there. You save one person from falling off a ladder. You paid for your entire drone program company wide for the next 10 years.
Well, I know we have a client of ours, and I don't know if I should mention the name, or maybe I can't, but I know that they're using drones right now to do exploration work. In other words, they need to go up a hill, but it's really steep. And in the past, they'd do all sorts of crazy things to get. Now they're sending drones up there. Yeah. To get a sense of what do we got, we need to take some samples up there, but they told me we're using drones. So yeah. What's awesome, Cam, is that it doesn't look like there are any limitations, and we're all happy that Draganfly is at the tip of the spear. You're not playing catch up. You're not AGORACOM drones where you're just trying to get into the industry and trying to find your niche. You guys are ahead of the curve. And I congratulate you again on another super exciting press release, and with the real numbers, $9 million. Yeah, let's put that in perspective. Let's finish off with that for the shareholders, because last year your revenues for 2020 were 4.36 million for fiscal 2020, and that was up 216% over 2019. Here you have one agreement that's going to be $9 million. How do you feel about that from a revenue point of view, revenue growth?
I'm thrilled, but frankly, I got 10 more to get done.
Right? Perfect way to leave it off. I'm going to actually timestamp that right there. We got 10 more to get done. Well, in the meantime, thanks for bringing us this one, Cam. Congratulations as a shareholder who doesn't. And somebody had talked to me about this on Twitter. They said, George, remember when you said you wouldn't touch this? I go, I'm not going to touch any of our stock in Draganfly for a couple of years. You know, I want to see what you guys are going to get done. Congratulations, Cam. Can't wait to have you back because we're gonna have more news to talk about.
Thanks for everything you do, and thanks to our shareholders.
To everybody at home, you've been watching or you've been listening by podcast on Spotify, Google, Apple, or your favorite podcast platform. To Cameron Shell, he's chairman CEO of Draganfly, trades in Canada and in the US on the NASDAQ on the same symbol, DPRO. For those of you new to the story, because you saw that headline, it's kind of hard to ignore $9 million agreement, and you're new and you want to get caught up on Draganfly. Here's the best way to do your due diligence. Get to the profile page on AGORACOM because there are a lot of moving parts here, a lot of technology, a lot of different verticals, so much going on. But we've got it neatly laid out for you in good summary form to review for a few minutes and get a good overview of the company. But then from there, link right over to the company's website, and you can see it right over draganfly.com to do your deep dive due diligence. Because if you believe in the future of drones, drone technology, drone solutions, and the role they're going to play in our society, in our economies, then you're going to have to make your own decision as to the role you think Draganfly is going to play in that industry. Just don't say we didn't tell you so. Have a great day. See you next time.
Hey guys, this video is over, but don't forget to help your company by liking it and then leaving a comment below. And then don't forget to help yourself by subscribing to our channel so you don't ever miss another great AGORACOM small cap video.